Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Planning Minister. Minister, given the latest New South Wales Productivity Commission report's suggestion that density and supply need to be increased closer to the city, will you commit to mandatory inclusionary zoning for all new private developments, which New South Wales Shelter, the Sydney Alliance and Vinnies have long advocated for, to ensure a significant percentage of these new dwellings are affordable in perpetuity?
Minister.
Thank you, Speaker, and I'd like to thank the member for Newtown for her question. She has long held a strong interest in making sure that people can get into homes. And I note her comments with respect to the Productivity Commission report released yesterday, calling for additional work to be done around density to make sure that people can get into homes. Young people, like the students in the gallery, they'd love to get into a home near to where they're living at the moment. Particularly, I can see Kanahooka High up there. Love to be staying around Kanahooka, a great part of the world. The Minister for Health loves it down there. I remember Michelle Harbour loves it down there. The government was elected with a mandate to introduce a suite of measures with respect to housing and housing supply. That involved improvements to rental arrangements. It included improvements to the way that we do social housing by bringing together the tenancy and the asset management arrangements into home with respect to social housing into Homes New South Wales, not selling off $3.6 billion worth of social housing like the previous government did. We've got Landcom working on build-to-rent pilots on the south coast and the northern rivers to develop a scheme to roll out potentially to the rest of New South Wales. And we also committed, and the member asked about inclusionary zoning, we committed to introducing a target of 30% social, affordable and universal housing on surplus government land. We did that because we need to not only grow the amount of homes generally, but we also need to make sure that all tenures and all types of housing options are available to people, particularly those close to transport and jobs. The Premier's requested that all departments and all ministers speak to their agencies to look to identify where some of that surplus land holdings might be, where we can increase and improve the amount of housing that the government can lead in delivery. But what we've always said, and I've spoken to the member for Newtown about this in the past, is we've said that the 30% is not a ceiling. It's not a ceiling. If we can go higher in a sensible arrangement, we will. And I do note that other cities around the world have targets of around 50% affordable housing on their public land, and it's baked into their housing supply system. Now, the previous government, of course, celebrated when they got to 5%.
Minister, just looking to member for Newtown on a point of order.
Thank you, Minister. I appreciate you've been talking about targets in relation to public land. My question was specifically about implementing inclusionary zoning on private developments, and it would be great if we could get to that part.
Member for Newtown, I'll draw your attention to the clock. Member for Newtown. Member for Newtown seeks an extension of time for an answer. 2 minutes is granted. Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. I appreciate the extension of time. And in saying that, inclusionary zoning on the public land is an important part of the housing mix as we move forward. As I said before, there's no one type of housing type or tenure that is going to deal with the problem that we've got. We've got no silver bullet when it comes to that. But the housing that we're talking about, the housing that we need, is not about punishing, it's not about class war, it's about making sure young people and families have a roof over their head. Now, while over my time as a Shadow Minister previously and more recently, I've had informal conversations with some of the larger builders in the state about the opportunities there might be to extend social and affordable housing options onto private land. That's quite a change in the way that New South Wales works at the moment, but potentially a very positive change. While I can't commit to introducing a target here on the floor during question time, what I can commit to the member is that we will be having those conversations. We will be working in a constructive manner where there are opportunities on private land to bring that into the system. As I said, in other parts of the world, it's baked into the way it's done. But we need to do this with an active engagement with the industry, with other stakeholders, with the community housing providers to make sure that it's ready to go. The active engagement of that is something I'm keen to do. Something I'm looking to explore sensible, workable options when it comes to exploring public policy, because what we need to do is all work together. All communities have to contribute their part to sensible, workable housing options that make sure that we're dealing with the housing crisis that we've got at the moment, to make sure that we're getting people into homes, near to jobs, near to transport, in well-located areas. We're implementing our election commitments at the moment, but I'm open to options into the future.